Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 30th of October 2019. Um, Yesterday, my wife and I went for a walk on our. Actually, we went for lunch yesterday. As we were driving down our road on the side of the road, I could see there was something laying on the side of the road, and we stopped, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. It was a little tiny puppy, probably 2 or 3 years old, dead, laying on the side of the road. And I had a close look, and I could see that there were like teeth marks along this poor little dog's back. And you think like, oh, man, when you live in a place like Bali, where you're so much closer to death as an animal and also as a human being, you really see things here which are typically, well, at least in Denmark, they were kind of hidden away, and you never saw stuff like that. And here you see that actually quite a lot, and it really kind of brings you to terms with a lot of things. We've seen the same thing a few times actually. We were on Lombok holidaying a couple of weeks ago, and there was a dog that was run over on the side of the road. And just as we were coming past it, there was another dog on the side of the road who ran over to it and picked it up and dragged it off. And you thought like, yes, very much a dog eat dog world. If you're hungry and you see one of your mates snuff it, then what's the best thing to do? Well, according to this dog, eat him. So it's pretty brutal, but very fascinating, of course. Of course, we in the West we hold, or in a lot of the world, people hold dogs very dear to their hearts. So it's kind of tough to see such a sweet little puppy there dead on the side of the road. And this morning, as I was riding my son to school, he said, "Let's go past and see if the little puppy is still there." So we rode past, and the puppy was gone. We took a right, and we went on the road, and we were coming back, and then we saw another puppy laying dead in the middle of the road. You think like, what's going on? A lot of dead puppies at the moment. It's very sad. Anyway, so pretty intense morning, I think, especially through the eyes of a 6-year-old. But today we're going to have a look at some trades, and I'm going to do some shorter term stuff, and then we'll have a look and see what's looking. And so this is the Euro US dollar. If we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we had these areas that were respected for a while. Actually, we had this. Sorry, it's going to grab. There we are. We had this, which was tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. This one sat in it and then it left. But the origin that kicked off this push higher is down here. So we put an entry here to have a test and see what happens. And in the meantime, we seem to be having some 1-hour demand that's starting to build up, and you can see that just here where we had something here. This is gone. We had this one here tested, and now it's gone. The area that did that is this accumulation candle here. How do I know it's this one? Because this is where price tested on the way down. It's just a point of reference. And now it's tested, now price rallied, accumulated, rallied, and now price is getting pretty close to this little half an hour area, which is just here. So we'll see what happens. Maybe price, oops, that was terrible. Maybe price will have a bounce once it comes back to this area. We'll have to wait and see. But this is the one here that's responsible for removing this. And so we can keep our eyes on that and see what happens there at the 1.1095-ish area, or 96. Okay, let's put that back on the hourly. There we are. We can see it clearly on the 1 hour. But the reason I'm not that keen on this is because we still have this price imbalance to fill, and the origin of this weekly bull move is just here. Hence my entry being placed here. So when you trade like me, I mean, sometimes nothing happens for many days, sometimes even a week. You just have to be cool with that. And for those of you who aren't cool with that, who want more action, well, the best thing to do is to keep an eye on the bigger time frames, and then take your entries on the smaller time frame, like the 15-minute or the 1 hour, around there. And we have this one here. This is the one we just saw. Looks like a pretty decent area, so you could certainly look at that. Tiny stop. I'm not comfortable with stops like that because you can get spreaded out in no time. So that's maybe interesting then, setting up. Let's have a look here on the American dollar, Japanese yen. We focus here on the big swings. We had a lot of kind of big pushing here. So we have this one here. confusing on that chart. I'm just going to go like this, weekly, and then zoom in. So we have this. So we had price dumped, moved sideways, and then we left. This is actually, this candle was in the range of the previous, this one was in the range of the previous, which tells us that these ones here are all linked together. But then I saw this candle, the candle that left is this one, and what does that do? Well, that brings our entry up to here. And then I put my entry there, and let's have a look why, because I can't see on this time frame. Zoom out a bit more. Yes, and so I saw this. Well, we had this, price went up, moved sideways, we had a bit of sideways movement, price went down, the slingshot was pulled back, and then we departed. And so this is just a little bit deeper. This one is reacting to this micro supply here, and this is kind of the meat of that move, which is why my entry is there. So we'll leave that on there, see how we get on. As you can see that here, actually looking at this is just a nice pattern here, so I think I'm going to do that. I like that one a lot better. Also, we have actually 2 times the size of this one as well, so we go like that. Where are we? I can't even see that little one. We're at 28 pips, and so the entry would go there, the stock would be there. That's 2 times the size, perfect. So 28 and 56, absolutely perfect, 2 times the size. So I like that. I just like this. Move higher, accumulation, poop, poop, poop. Beautiful. And this is interesting because we had this that was tested. Notice here, price tested it once, we tested it twice, we came back above it, and then boom, boom, we left. The origin of the move, the left is here, hence our entry is right there. So that's still in play. I'm thinking we'll probably get there within the next next week or so. And this is one that could play out for a while. If we have some really nice inefficient price moves up to this area, we have price sideways, sideways, up, sideways. We have another push here. That'll be nice because opposing demand will be here, and the second opposing demand will be here. And notice that we're also kind of wriggling lower here, and so this is kind of overlap of where these areas would meet. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens if price gets there. Let's have a look at this one here. This is the daily Canadian, and this is interesting because we had this tested. If you go to a smaller time frame, we can probably refine that. Yes, we can. Right there. Tested. Price went up. We moved down. We set up here, and we cut away sideways, and then move. The origin, the strong move that caused this break is here. Okay, which you can see just here. And there's a lot of trading here. I like this one as well. This is a beautiful area. This one consumes something in here. We've spoken about that many times. But this here is kind of the origin of the move that removed this daily demand here. And so I'm keen about that. So notice that we do have this. Oh, let me zoom out a bit. Here. This is a little bit further down. Test. The area that did that is this one right here. So we do have this. Slingshots pull back to here, and we cut away. But notice that price kind of pull back into it. But I mean, this would be the area that would be looking on the smaller time frames, like the hourly or so. It's probably a decent. No, it's not. I don't like that at all on the hourly because been back here, and here. The only fresh area is here. So this one here, I'd look to trade, but I wouldn't touch these down here. This is the one that I'd be looking to trade at. And the reason I do that is because price kind of came up here and we moved sideways, we broke away, and then we dumped. And so my entry is going to go here instead. I like that one much, much better. Okay, for that reason. It's just a lot of like trading in this area. And on the daily chart, if you look at it, you'd think, oh, that's a fine area, and it looks like it, and it may be, but notice that this candle here, the wick goes all the way up to here. So this is kind of like the slingshot being pulled back. So this one's better, and the origin of this is up here. So on the 4 hour, we have this. We could also accumulation. This candle here is not within the range of the previous, This candle is pulled back here, so you could move it higher up to where the indicator says around here, because this is actually the origin of it. And the beauty of doing it this way is that we will have our stop above this small continuation pattern, which is essentially bearish liquidity waiting to be filled. So we'll leave that there and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's make sure this isn't going to expire. No expiration. Good. Cool. So let's move on to the Aussie American dollar. I've got this one down here. These look like 4-hour areas. We have this one here. I was eyeballing this, but I had change of heart. I like this because we had, this is a tough call. We had this here, just tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and it was cut away. This is the origin, so we'll likely have a bounce here. But this one here is where the move originated from. It actually originated here, but this price and bounce has already been bounced. Okay, rally, accumulation, rally, accumulation, rally. This one is still exposed, so I'm expecting price to move down to around here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Have a look at the dollar franc. What do we have here? They've still got this one up here waiting. And this was interesting because if we mark this one off here, I can't really see what's going on there on this time frame, so we have to scroll back. Okay, here it is. Add this. A little baby. Tested. Went through it, but it didn't hold. The area, the origin of the move that moved away is here. Boom. So this one's gone. So that's one is the one that's interesting to us. Make sure this one doesn't expire. Yes, no longer is going to expire today. That would have been a blow. So we'll leave it on there like that. Okay, pound American dollar. What do we have here? So we have, remove all of these. So if you guys want to remove all of the objects on here, you simply right click, go to object list. You take this window, you click one of them, you press Control A to mark all of them, and then you press delete. Then everything's gone. Then you get fresh, clean charts. Okay, until you go like that, then the indicator will start drawing. So we have this one here that worked out. Nice continuation pattern. This one is interesting because we had this one here. Tested the origin of the move that did it. Is this one here. Test. Success. So we'll probably move away. And we have something here as well. Tested. What area moved it? Let's have a look on the smaller time frames. This one did just here. So, I mean, there's probably something in here. So let's put something in here. Go down to the smaller. We can find it. This is a tiny little continuation pattern. Not too keen about that. There. Also, this one here is kind of in the middle of a nowhere, and so this is just something that you might want to. Kim's going to remove that. Have a look at that. And we look higher. What do we have to sell? We have a lot of news coming out of the UK at the moment. Lots of delays with this Brexit rubbish. Yeah, I'm not too keen about putting entries in the Brexit at the moment until until this issue is resolved. So I'll just be very careful trading this. And if you look at this here, a nice safe trade would be this one here. It's a nice weekly supply. Let's have a look here. See what it looks like. Yeah, let's have a look at the 4-hour. Here. So I'm gonna go like this. I like that. It puts my stop pretty close to the top as well. 38. That's not 0.25%. So let's go back here and have a look. 250 pips. Whew. That's a big stop, isn't it? And so we have that nice one there, don't we? That's a nice cutaway. I mean, you could also, I think, get away with this. Times it by 2. Bring it back up to here. I think that'll probably be fine as well. So we'll give that one a shot. Let me get some bigger volume. Still only 2. Well, should have just left that one alone. Let's put this on 2. Pending. We're gonna sell at 14316. 14316 stops at 14174. 14316. I'll put this wherever. That's what we have. 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I like that. So we'll leave that in there. Let's have a look at the pound Canadian. Yeah, we have this beautiful little thingy here. You can see how price came tested. We came back up. We sat on the area, and we cut away. I like that. So I'm interested in doing something there. We don't really have any clarity in here yet, so this is where I'm interested. Pound franc. Same thing. Look at these 3. Look how similar they look. Isn't that amazing? Look at the pound Aussie. A different animal. Very interesting. So pound franc. What do we have? We have this up here, which looks good. Let's go to the weekly. What are we doing up there? Yeah, we have some serious. Oh God, look at that one. That's so beautiful. That's such a nice one. I really like that. But that's what, a week. Yeah, it's pretty far away. But you know what? I like that a lot. 1, I'm gonna allow myself 2. This 0.5% on there. I like that. 137.60. 137.60. And the target will be somewhere. Okay, about $50. That's nice. I really like that one. That's very nice. We do have this. The price has already been back to this area. It's already been back here. It's already, yeah, you know. And this is the fresh area. I really like that one. So I don't want that to expire. So I'm going to leave it in there and let it do its thing. So that's a really nice weekly trade. Go to the down here. You can see that it's kind of above these highs. So the beginning of the sell zone, there's a high above these highs here. So that looks pretty cool, I think. Pound Aussie. What do we have? Let's zoom out. What we had. Average of the lows were about around here. Okay. Let's go to the smaller time frame for more accuracy, which we don't have there. Okay, here we are. So here it is, right there. Zoom out. You can see here, tested once, twice, 3 times, and now it's gone. The area that did it is this one here. There's something going on in there. Let's go down there and have a look. What do we have? Here we have this here. This kind of looks like the pound one we just had a look at. But we could put a small trade on. I mean, look at the way it just cut through it. We had a lot of testing and just like boom, like unremorseful, just a huge push away. Let's have another look. Let's go look at these different time frames until you find something that looks interesting. Can we look here? Yeah, so we had this little one here. Tested. That's gone. The one that held away is here, so we're probably going to get some bounces going on from here, maybe around there. Okay, on this time frame, but I'd probably be keen to do something like from the low of this candle, which left, to here. Okay, I think that'd be interesting, but I'm not going to do it because I don't like this kind of stuff like that. And they're kind of standing on a skinny leg like that, so I'll leave that. Remove all these, delete, gone. So I'll pass on that. Pound yen. Yeah, see, this is interesting as well up here. Had a lot of trading here. A lot of attempts to move through there, didn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, gone. What area did it? This one did right here. So this is where we will look to sell. Make sure that's not going anywhere. 2 micro lots. 145.02. The stop is at 146.57, and the target will be somewhere 28 bucks. Perfect. I mean, if you look at, okay, let's have a look here. We could have our targets. So we had this, it was tested a couple of times. Test. The area that did it is below, right there. So this is where our target would be. But because we have this kind of resistance becomes support, and I'm going to put it above here, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on that one. That's beautiful. We'll leave that in there. And that shouldn't expire. No. Pound Kiwi. What are we doing? Weekly chart. Oh, we are getting close to this. Let's see what this is. This is just a place where, let's have a look. Can't see it very clear. Okay, so we had the reason I chose this is because we had this. Tested once, tested twice, it sat on it, it left, the slingshot was pulled back, and then we had, like a staggering release. And if you look at that just for the second, you can see, that's just some serious selling there. And so I just put mine up here, because I think that's a pretty beautiful release. So we'll see what happens on that one. Let's have a look at targets. So we have targets. So we have this, all these tests, and where did price go to? It went to here. Okay, so we'll leave that. That'd be nice if that went down there, wouldn't it? Yeah, about a 3-to-1 Aussie CAD. This is the one that I was mucking around with. So we got in here. Had a nice bounce. Price kept moving, so we had 30 pips, and now we're up to as far as 80, so almost a 3-to-1 on that one. But we got into the 89.11, which was nice. Price is not going to go on forever, so you've got to remember, if you're in this trade, get out at some stage. We have the beginning of the sell zone here, and then we have this little price nodule here. So going up on, let's say, the weekly charts, we can have a look. You can see that we have a super clear departure where we have demand. Price goes into once, twice, 3 times, but the area that price leaves is up here. And the indicator is pointing that out for us, which is a nice area. And I have an entry down here to sell. And looking at this on this chart, what does that make you feel? Does that make you feel that this is a really good idea? It doesn't really, does it? But remember, this is a weekly stance, a weekly view, going on the smaller time frame. You can take these smaller time frame trades because there's going to be some intraday volatility that's going to result in in trades happening all day while price makes its way up to here. Okay, so if you look at this weekly area, in the area that managed to cut through it is, well, we had this one, but on the daily you can see this, actually this one here. So we're going to have some price bouncing, I'd say, at that area there, because this is where price disappeared from. And notice also that price disappeared from here, so we reacted at this little area. Who would have known that this would have done anything? If you look at it, it doesn't even look like anything, does it? This is what price held. Let's have a look, see what's inside that. Yeah, I mean, okay, it makes sense now how we had like a rally, sideways price, and then a departure to the south. So, looks interesting. Looking here, looking at this, price is reacting to this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, looking at this, I'm not going to do that. There's just simply not enough clarity. Let me clear this out again. Symbol changer. Looking at this, I want some seriously clear places to sell at. We have one here. On this time frame, that little one that we just looked at does look clear, doesn't it? Because we had demand in here. And this demand, remove this supply. Okay, move through it. And now this one is gone. The origin of the move that cut this through, or remove this, is up here. So this one is no longer valid. This one can be moved to the high here, to maybe like that. You got 7 microlots. And I'm going to put that one on. So my position size went down, and we moved our entry slightly higher. We're going to sell. You know what? I'm not going to do anything. Why? Because we're reacting at weekly, monthly demand. Let me have a look at this. This is very well formed monthly demand. It's simply not a good idea. This would be really low probability. Why? Because we're really low. We're actually selling into monthly demand. So I'm not going to do anything there. Okay? But keep around that area. Aussie franc, next pair. What are we doing here? We're moving higher. Moving higher. So let's find. Okay, so we might be moving through this soon. Hasn't happened yet. The area that will be responsible for that is potentially this one here. Just there, okay? But we'll see what happens. It hasn't happened yet, so we have to be careful doing anything. Aussie yen. The Aussie yen is moving north. We're moving up towards this area here. And this was interesting because we had this area here. Tested a bunch of times. It didn't go through. This pullback was responsible for price releasing. So this is where the entry goes. If we have a look in here, let's leave this one on there, and we'll draw another one just around here. Let's have a look here. Okay, so let's have a look and see what's in there. It's here. I mean, looking at this, it doesn't look all that great, does it? There's no like shirt tearing departures anywhere. The only one that I'd be comfortable with is something up here. So this one here. Kind of around here, because this is the one that left there. If we consider this for a second, we had this one as well. We tested it. This is the one that left. And yeah, I mean, looking at this, I'm not like that super keen about the area now. But notice that we had this, price went up, we left, pulled back, and then we left. So we could go like that, But looking at this, has price been back to this area before? Has it been back here before? Indeed, here. So this is an area here that would be more interesting to me. Let's zoom out. Let's remove all these objects. When there's not clarity like that, I'm just going to go over here and see what does it say on this time frame. So we have a buy down there. Let's have a look up here. And here you can see weekly, 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 weekly. This one here is the one that cut away. Where did it cut away from? The lowest body. It's about right there. Can you see that? Body, body, body. This one left. This one really left. So this is kind of there's a continuation pattern in here, in this candle, which you can see here. Rally, distribution, decline in price, distribution, decline in price, and then price cut away. So we're going to have a reaction up here somewhere, but we don't know where. It's tough. It's a tough call, isn't it, when you look at this on this time frame? It's not a whole deal of clarity, but notice, yeah, it's really difficult to see. It's difficult to see. In here you can see it very clear. Right there. Our stop is okay. I'm just going to do this over. Swaps -$5. God, this one here is just cracking. Look at that gap. Just gap down. We closed the gap when we left. I mean, this is still a spot to leave. I just don't feel that comfortable about selling here when price has been back there, here, and here. I would be way more comfortable selling higher up here. But that's really far away from price, so there's no need to worry about that. But for the time being, we have stuff forming below price. Have this one here. This is interesting to us because we had a lot of testing, price poked through it, and this accumulation is responsible for price moving north. And so that might be a little bit more interesting. Excuse me. Okay. Aussie Singapore, what's going on here? Let's go to the weekly. Just wriggling north, aren't we? Sorry, wriggling south. Pretty efficient trading all the way down. Had a big rejection here. Price is trying to move low, so we're probably going to have a bit of a wriggle north because we're moving into this territory. Can we see anything here? We can't see anything. There's no more data. So we have price doing this. It's difficult to see where. And we had this, of course. Tested once, gone. Price didn't manage. Price managed to stay down there after here. This brings our attention to this area here, which is around the 95.10 area. That's an okay area, and this is a very beautiful area here. I like that, just because of the way it looks. Okay, I like the way that looks. How we have, this one's also nice. This is also nice. This is also nice. Like we're like at a clothes shop. I like that. I like that. I like that price kind of came higher, moved sideways, and then we were left. That's really far away from price. There's no need to worry about that. Right, let's do a couple more, and we'll be done with it. We have this. This is the 4-hour on the Kiwi. It's interesting. We had all these attempts here to do something to this. This one did it. The origin, like the strong push that started this move, is here. So I want to be long at that point there. Also notice up here that we had something in here, some support. It was tested a bunch and then it left. The only one that did it is this one. Let's go to the 1 hour and look. Yeah, and you can see it a little clearer here. So we had, there's a bit of a mess, but we had this here, and this is the one that did it. So we could go like this. Okay, the 67, 63, 93 area. This is just a nice, good old-fashioned cutaway. Bit of clarity. Before we went up to here, before it released. So yeah, I think anywhere like around here would be fine. Here. Okay. I have enough trades open, so I'm not going to put any more on. Good. Euro pound, and we're done. So what do we have here? So we have and we have a couple like parents and children that have been removed. This one here, this one here. Now it's gone. The one that did this one is this. Is this one just here? So we have that. We'll leave that in there. See what happens. This is also kind of like the kind of support or can resistance at this area. So I like that. Cool. Good. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. 36 minutes. I promise these will be short. Have any questions? Send them in. Thanks for watching.